Have you previously experimented with Gemini? Can be even in your Gmail account or your phone or your private stuff. So that doesn't mean that you have to be using it in the work environment. We have some votes now. Yes, 3 persons, 12. I'm going to show you the results. Never have heard about Gemini before. That's good. You're going to learn it here. And 5 of you have. Well, good, good, good. So let's go and talk about this. Mario is going to show us some information and then some examples of how we are able to use this tool. We're going to talk about how we can add this Gemini add-on or tool into our workplace environment, users, and so on, and what's the process of doing that. Because you should have inside your company a well-planned structure to acquire this Gemini tool, our AI new way of work in an organized manner. So we can help you with that. We can talk about that in a precise meeting with each one of you if you need so. But prior to that let's get into Gemini and understand what is that. Mario, it's all yours.
Thank you, Karel. Welcome, everyone, to the session. It's really a pleasure to be here with you guys today, especially whenever we're talking about artificial intelligence, as Karel was mentioning, because this is a trending topic. Everyone is involved. A lot of people that never tried Gemini or any type of artificial intelligence, we all want to know what it is about, what's in it for me, as they say, and it's very important we understand how Gemini works, what will be the main differences compared to other artificial intelligence we have already displayed. Feel free to ask any questions at any time if you have any. I'll just ask you kindly that if those are questions, if you can just submit them through the Q&A section. In case you don't know, you can find it at the bottom right corner of the screen. There's a button there identified with a triangle, a square, and a circle that's called Activities. If you click on it, on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll get a menu, and the fourth option is actually Q&A. That will be the proper way for you to submit your questions so we can keep it in order and we can just answer your questions at any time. So please feel free to send any questions you have regarding the information we're discussing for today. So that being said, also as a friendly reminder, the session is being recorded. So of course, there's going to be a video available after the session is over, and we can share the video with all of you so you can share with others, or if you need to double check some information we just discussed, you can keep a copy of the video as well. So let's go ahead and get started with Gemini and what we recommend to be the process to actually implement and adopt the tool in the proper way and understand who should be the right fit for the tool. Because again, this is just in the beginning. So sometimes we may just believe that this is not for everyone. That's why we help you find the right fit in the company, who should be the people that start trying this one, and the different options that will be available for you. So that being said, let's start by learning what's artificial intelligence specifically, because we have heard this a lot. We kind of have a general overview on what the artificial intelligence might be, but it's important that we really define what artificial intelligence is, what we can do, and how we can use it on a daily basis. So if we understand as artificial intelligence as a tool, it's important we understand this is not a robot, because a lot of people, they just assume this is a robot that will help us on whatever we do on our task and everything. So it's actually more than that. It's understanding that this is a set of tools designed to analyze data. As it says, it's one of the functionality that has available artificial intelligence, analyzing data. They also learn from patterns, and they also make predictions and help you make decisions as well. So as it says here, it's important you think of artificial intelligence as a supercharged assistant capable of performing tasks that humans find tedious or complex. So that's the idea. At the end of the day, we say that we summarize artificial intelligence as a tool that will help you to improve and boost your productivity, by just reducing your waste of time. That's basically it. So important things that we understand, there are different type of artificial intelligence, and that's also what we will be learning today. So it's important we understand that on a daily basis, we're already using artificial intelligence, and sometimes we don't even know. That's why it says here on everyday AI. AI is already interwoven in our lives. It powers recommendation algorithms on streaming platforms, enables facial recognition in smartphones, and even helps with medical diagnosis. So imagine what artificial intelligence is already doing. And some of us may think up until today that artificial intelligence was still just a robot. So it's important to understand that it's more than that, and there are a lot of things that are happening already due to artificial intelligence. So let's move forward and let's see a few examples on how artificial intelligence is already being used. So, for example, we have virtual assistants. Most of us, we already use those. Most of us on a daily basis, or at least we have tried it at least once in our lives. So we have Siri, we have Alexa, we have the Google Assistant. Those are type of artificial intelligence that it's deep learning, because they get to know us based on interactions. So whatever we ask, whatever we provide them information. So this is a question I get asked a lot because we work with Google. So people is always asking me, Mario, is it true that Google is spying you all the time, that they can hear you, that they can see you, and that's why they suggest you things? Well, it's not that they spy you, it's more based on deep learning. So all your interactions online, when you go into social media, when you go on different websites, all those interactions are being recorded, and that's actually how they predict probably what you need to purchase later or what you're thinking. So a lot of people is scared because they said like it's like they can listen to what I'm thinking. I don't even have to say it, and they already know it. So it's not that they spy you, it's just based on predictions, based on interactions you have. That's how they can determine what will be your next purchase and things like that. So this is part of artificial intelligence. And this is deep learning, as it says at the bottom. Continuing with the deep learning style of artificial intelligence, we also have recommendation systems. So, for example, whenever you're watching movies on Netflix, or whenever you're buying things on Amazon, or even listening to music on Spotify, that's the reason why you see that they actually suggest you may like this, or you may want to watch this movie, or probably if you bought these shoes, then probably you want this shirt as well. So that's actually a recommendation system, and it's part of the deep learning process as well. If we move to based on rules, which is another type of artificial intelligence, we can see one of the most popular nowadays would be fraud detection, which is used mostly on banks. The idea is that they can prevent frauds, and that they can just immediately identify suspicious transactions, or things like that. So that's also based on artificial intelligence. But this is, as the name says, based on rules, because from the very beginning, you need to set your rules. You need to be very precise, very specific, and then the artificial intelligence will go all over the place using those rules to identify and determine if there's something wrong. And based on rules as well, we have those smart vehicles, Tesla, Google vehicles. I mean, there has been a lot of testing all over the place. People is still in the middle. They don't know to say if they agree or if they disagree, because those basically, without someone driving the car, people sometimes is concerned about following everything, being aware on pedestrians and things like that. So at the end, that's also based on rules, and that's why they continue testing. Some of them are already released in market. But again, this is part of different artificial intelligence that's currently in the market, and that sometimes we don't even notice about it. So let's move forward and let's understand specifically, as I was describing, that there are different types of artificial intelligence. So we see limited artificial intelligence. This is a system that's developed for a specific task. The most popular one that we all knew in the past, the one they created just to play chess. So that's why it's limited AI, because I cannot have a conversation with them. I cannot ask them to do anything different. The only thing they can do is play chess, and that's why it's limited, because there's only one specific action that they can actually follow. Then there's the general AI. This is specifically to work as a human, so they can do a lot of different things. People got really concerned about it, even in the UN and things like that. They were really concerned about general AI. Especially, if we all watch the movie for Terminator and we know what happened, what's the end of the movie. So they were really concerned about general AI, and that's why they decided to put it on pause. It's undefined if they will continue developing or not, because they don't really know the capabilities or what may happen on that. And then we have the one based on rules, which is one of the most popular type of artificial intelligence. This one is actually capable of making decisions, detecting diseases, preventing frauds, because it's based on rules. So specifically, you can say what will be okay, what will be not okay, what they need to actually, I don't know, pop up a notification for us if there's something going on. So based on rules, it's what companies are using the most. Then we see the deep learning, which is another very common and popular model. This is the one we see when we talk about ChatGPT or things like that, because they learn from your interactions. So whenever you ask something, whenever you say something, whenever you're searching for information, whatever you're doing, whatever interaction you're having, they are learning from that as well. And the last type of artificial intelligence that we have, I mean, there are several more, but this is like the most important type of artificial intelligence. The other type of artificial intelligence might be even subdivisions of what we saw already. So the last one we're going to discuss today is generative AI, which is the one we're going to focus on today, because this is actually the one that we use as part of Gemini in Google. So it's important we understand, because again, this is another huge concern. A lot of people, it's asking Karel or me, is it true that now that we have generative AI, are we losing our jobs? Are we firing people because this will be replacing us? We need to understand that's not even the case, because generative AI actually needs a human being, because as it says here, it generates information based on a context, but they need a query from a human being. So without a person, generative AI cannot work. They cannot do anything on their own. So it's very important we understand, as I said at the beginning of the session, the idea on Gemini is boosting your productivity, helping you not to waste any time and to reduce whatever you're doing. So it will be easier and faster. But at the end of the day, it's important we understand that we need a human being for generative AI to work. So that's a must. So that's something you need to keep in mind. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, one of the most hot topics, I'll say, it will be security. So it's important we understand how security works, and the reason why. Whenever you're using artificial intelligence for free, you need to understand that security is not part of free artificial intelligence. So for those of you using a smart assistant for your meetings, or for those of you using ChatGPT online, or any other type of artificial intelligence that has free access, it's important you understand that free access is the same as saying no security at all. So it is very important you keep that in mind, because we are concerned, because we see a lot of people using artificial intelligence on their daily task. I don't know, accessing information as sensitive information, even confidential information for your companies. People is sometimes giving them information about projects, about releases that they're doing on different products, or I don't know, a lot of different things that they just give information without thinking about security, and that's why it's very important we stop using that. So for example, if you're into using a smart assistant for your meetings, and you keep that available, and you turn it on, and you have it like enable, um, reconsider that one. My advice is to double check if that's actually accurate and okay, because if it's a free tool, again, as I said, that's the same as saying no security. So let's focus on what we offer here for Gemini. So it says we have enterprise grade security. So that means that your data sovereignty, for example, it says that remains under your control. It's never used for external purposes without your explicit consent. So it's important we all understand that whenever we're talking about Gemini, there's a contract in between. So that means that we keep security as our priority number one. It has always been priority number one for Google, and now that we have released Gemini, it continues to be the same priority number one, security. So as you can see, it says clearly here that whatever information you use through Gemini, it's going to stay inside your company. It's not going to be released to general public, and that's very important we are all understanding. Encrypted data. This is how Google Workspace has been working already for several years. Remember that every time you have a new file created through Google Workspace, the file is split into three different portions. Each of those portions is encrypted individually and then saved randomly in different geographic locations based on different servers that Google has. So whenever we're talking about Gemini, there's no exception. The model is exactly the same, and we continue encrypting information and data. So that's something important as well to know. And the last one, when it comes to enterprise-grade security, is the seamless policy integration. So I know for sure that the IT department for different companies, they have been working really hard. They have spent several hours just to go through the settings, understanding what will be the right policies we need to apply to our company. So imagine all the work they have been doing for several time. And now it's important we understand that if we say, okay, we would like to have Gemini available, then whatever policy has been integrated previously to your company, to your domains, DLP rules, whatever you created in the past is going to go seamlessly through Gemini as well. So that's another important thing to know. So it does not require to start from scratch doing all the job again. This is just telling me that whatever we did before as part of the settings will be automatically applied within Gemini. So it's important to understand that as well. Then we have the unmatched reliability. Of course, this is what Google offers you 100%. The Google's proven infrastructure. So, I mean, we're not testing something new. We're not using a new infrastructure for that. I mean, Google know exactly what they're doing, and Gemini will, as it says here, Gemini will leverage the robust cloud infrastructure, and that's ensuring you scalability and uptime to whatever information you're using through Gemini as well. And last but not least, the continuous monitoring. Remember that part of the security that we offer is that Google has different security systems in the cloud. So they are cloud-based security systems, actually. And they continue checking. They continue with rigorous monitoring, auditing, and just to protect your data at all times. So as you can see, based on everything we can read on this slide, security continues to be priority number one. So whenever you choose Gemini for your company and you need to start working with Gemini for artificial intelligence, you can be 100% sure that all your interactions are saved in your domain. Nothing will go out. And of course, all your information and your privacy, it's 100% safe. Because again, it's priority number one for Google. And then if we would like to summarize in simple words what we just described on the previous slide to understand how Gemini is actually protecting your data now that the AI is coming all the way. Well, your data remains your data. That's very important for you to know. So whatever interaction I'm having with Gemini, no information will be disclosed whatsoever. Your privacy is protected, of course, 100%. Your data stays within Google Workspace. This is very important. Again, this is going to stay within your domain. That's part of the contract information we give you once you get the service for Gemini. So even if at a certain point you choose not to continue working with Gemini anymore, your information is within your domain, and you can choose to have that information deleted, so no interactions will be saved at all. Also important to understand that regardless of whatever I'm doing, even though we saw earlier in the presentation that there are other type of artificial intelligence, like the deep learning, that they continue learning from you, and that's the way they suggest you and help you make decisions. Well, it's important we understand that whenever we're talking about Gemini, that's not the case. So whatever your content is, it will not be used for ad targeting. So you can be 100% sure and rest assured that whatever interactions you're having will not be related to whatever ad content you see in the future. Your data is not used by any other client, which is important. So that's part of the security we offer again. And the existing protection for your data is automatically applied. So as I was telling you, you don't have to start from scratch. All the information is already there. And whatever settings you had for DLP rules, security, or whatever other thing you set from the administrative console, then it will be automatically applied. And your interactions with Gemini stay within your organization. So again, this is just like a summary on the previous slide, just so we have a clear view and clear understanding on the type of security that's offered by Gemini, which is one of the most important things, I guess. If we continue, then we get to know exactly what Gemini will do, because now we know that Gemini is generative AI. We understand that security is priority number one. We have been talking a lot on different type of artificial intelligence we have in different tools and things like that. So it's time for us to learn specifically what we can do and what we can perform through Gemini. So there are five specific interactions we can have. The first one was named Help Me Write. This one works inside Docs and Gmail. And the idea is that you can start writing or redefining existing text easier, faster. And if you're not really into writing because that's not your jam and maybe you don't know exactly how to convey the proper message, then this is the perfect tool for you guys, because then you can say, I'm just need to create an invitation for a webinar and I need to send it to all my clients, whatever you need to do. We're going to go through a few examples here, and you'll see that prompting is the most important part. Prompting refers to typing the instruction, because it's important you understand it's an instruction you need to give to Gemini so they can help you write, as it says. Then we also have assistance with Help Me Visualize. This is specifically inside slides, and the idea is that you can start creating content. So I don't know if this ever happened to you in the past, but sometimes it happens to me that I have just the perfect idea for a presentation. I just have everything in my mind in the proper way, but then I have to stop because I need to think that I do not have a specialized team assigned to me. I don't have a professional team on photography. So whatever image I was thinking I will apply to the slide, I don't have a way to get that image. And then what I am doing is just going through a web browser, looking for a similar image to what I had in mind and using that picture in my presentation or something similar. Well, that will end, because now with Gemini, you can actually describe the image the way you thought about it, and Gemini will create the image from scratch for you. And the most important here is that the image that's created is without copyrights, so you can actually use it toward commercial purposes if you want to, with no issues at all. And then you can just imagine whatever image you like, or whatever picture or photography, or even you'll see that there are different type of images you can actually create there. Then we have the Help Me Organize. This is inside Google Sheets. And the idea is that instead of starting from scratch again, you can just create tables. You can just create drop-down lists. You can create, I don't know, different information that will help you create a chart easier and faster. So again, if you're starting a project and you already know that there's a budget and a specific time frame, then you can just describe the project to the Help Me Organize option. And then Google Sheets will create a table for you, giving you all the steps, all the different phases, all the time frames, all the budget that you need to use. The whole table will be created from scratch, and then you can just insert the table into your Google Sheets, and you can start customizing or modifying the table. But at the end, the idea is that you don't have to start from scratch. Then when we move to Google Meet, the idea is that they help you improving. So it's Help Me Connect. As you notice, most of us now, we use a background image because we don't like to share the real background we have. Sometimes we're not even in the proper location, so that's why we replace it. So with Help Me Connect, they will allow you to create a background image, again, just using a description on your own. And once the image is generated by Gemini, you can actually apply that as the background of your Google Meet. And then that means that it's limitless, because I can create different images for every single call that I have during the day. I don't know, maybe if I'll be just meeting with a person that's into construction, maybe I can just create a background related to construction environment and use it toward the call. If I'm just meeting with a school, maybe I can just create a background related to school, to education, learning, and use that background once I'm in the call. So the idea is that you can just replace your backgrounds, but you can just create an image from scratch by just describing the image as the way you like it to be, and then Gemini will create the image for you. And not only that, also the Help Me Connect, it's also applying artificial intelligence towards your microphone, towards your camera. So the idea is that they can have a better image of you once you're in the call. They can apply filters. They can apply illumination just to ensure you're in the proper way. The automatic framing as well. So let's say if my camera is not really in the center, maybe I have the camera somewhere else, but I want to be framed every time I'm talking, then I can just use the auto frame option based on artificial intelligence, and that's the way I can be 100% sure that I'll be framed all the time. And also when it comes to the microphone, they did a lot of improvement recently. So if I have a dog barking next to me and I'm in a very important meeting, I can tell you for sure that the rest of the people, as long as I enable the artificial intelligence portion for the microphone, and they just start removing the background noise, they will hear my voice, but they will not even notice that I have a dog barking next to me. So those are the type of help you have when it says help me connect. And the last option available here is the supercharge your ideas, which is Gemini website. This is more conversational, so you can have a conversation and just continue. I mean, for example, you can just give a prompt asking for a specific information or just giving a straight instruction on what they need to do. And if the result you get, you need to go a little bit beyond whatever information they got you, then you can just continue talking. You don't have to repeat yourself as to what you described at the beginning. You can just say whatever extra you need, like, okay, the information is perfect, but can you please make it a table? Or can you just share with me a chart on this? And then the Gemini website will actually understand that you're continuing the conversation, and that's what the information will be described to you. And then part of the important information we would like to share with you guys today is that as your partners, when it comes to Google Workspace, we have designed and created that special process that will be the way we support you once you choose to get Gemini for your company. So it's not just giving you the tool or just having this small conversation today and then leaving you on your own for you to find out what you can do. It's not really like that. Actually, we designed this process that's by 5 different steps, as you can see, or 5 different phases. And the idea is that we help you throughout the process. So whenever you choose to have Gemini for your domain, then we help you to understand what will be the vision and objectives that you want to have in your company. It's important that we set clear expectations, like I'm getting Gemini because I want to accomplish this, or I'm getting Gemini because I want to give it to this specific team and I want them to get us to this by Q3 or Q4 or whatever the objective might be. That's very important for you to do it. Then we help you as well with the selection and discovery process. As I was telling you, we find the perfect fit for the tool. So there are different ways on learning who can be the perfect fit for that. Might be surveys, might be polls, might be different information that we can share with you. We help you throughout the process, and once those teams have been selected, then we go through the exploration process that we actually start learning from you guys as to what will be your activities, what will be the things that you want to do in your company, how would you like to apply Gemini, and we help you throughout the process of appropriating the tool, which is step number 4. And this is where we help you generating prompts. So this is where we help you actually checking that information. We share a few examples with you, real case scenarios, different information that we share, so you can actually start appropriating the different case use scenarios that we have available and understanding how you can take advantage of the tool in the proper way. And the last one will be the progression. So there's monitoring and continuous training because the tool is, it's phase 1 or 2 currently. So Gemini is just enhancing every single day. They are launching new features. They gave us a roadmap for the rest of the year. So we know a lot of things are coming our way. And that's it. That's the reason why it is very important that we continue training you guys. So those 5 steps that you see right now on the screen is how Easers Capital can help you whenever you choose to implement Gemini for your company. And remember that we're talking specifically about Gemini for Workspace, which is something important that I would like to mention as well, because Gemini is the whole artificial intelligence within Google. And I know you heard a lot of different things, but you need to understand that Gemini has been also divided into different categories. And today, specifically, we're focusing on Gemini for Google Workspace. So this is the one I just described to you on help me write, help me organize, help me connect, those type of functionality, as well as the Gemini website. But then if you saw something different that you're interested in your company, such as working with Gemini in the cloud or with databases or things like that, that's a whole different version of Gemini. That's important as well to say from the very beginning. There are like 4 or 5 different categories for Gemini. So there's a Gemini even for people that's developing new software. There's another Gemini that's only for Google Cloud Platform, so it can help you with databases, with connecting with information, helping you make decisions. So those are different type of versions for Gemini as well. And of course, we can also help you with that. But again, the focus on today's session is on the Gemini version for Google Workspace specifically. So this is more focused on end users that will be applying that on a daily basis based on their tasks and based on the tools that we use within Google Workspace. So before we move any further to the examples and the practice that we're going to have today, I don't know if there's any question, any doubt, any comments, anything that you would like to know before we move any further. Nothing? Okay. So let's go into the examples. There's a question here. Do you need to download a targeted Gemini for each program, or is it all together? No, actually, it really depends. If it's related to what I just said at the end of the conversation, there are different type of Gemini versions. So for example, if what we're talking about today is Gemini for Google Workspace, if you choose to have this service available, then it works as an add-on. So you have to choose how many add-ons would you like to purchase for your company. And then from the administrative console, you can actually assign those to your end users. So you can just assign and they don't have to do anything else. They don't have to download any software or anything like that. All they have to do is next time they log in with their username and password, they will be able to see Gemini apply to all the different tools that where Gemini is available within Google Workspace. But that's the only version of Gemini you'll get. Now, if you're talking about Gemini along with Vertex, because I want to build a smart bot within my domain, and I want to have like, I don't know, maybe a query system that my end users can use and they can check information, then that's a whole different story. That's a whole different version of Gemini. And of course, that's a different license and a different product that you have to purchase. So it's not one single Gemini that gets you all. It's different Geminis. And that's why I was telling you, it really depends on what you like to do. Then other question we have here, let me just. So the other question says, is there a version that comes with your current Google Workspace? That's the one we're talking about today. The only thing is that this is an add-on. So of course, that's additional pricing for that. And you have to choose how many add-ons you like to purchase for your domain. And those are the add-ons that you will be able to assign to your users. So the one that you're asking is actually the one we're learning today specifically. It's not something that comes by default or included already as part of your Google Workspace license. This is something additional. So that's why it's an add-on. You have to choose how many add-ons you like to purchase for your domain or your company, and then you'll have to assign those through your administrative console. And that's the only way your end users will be able to get it. Part of the security that we offer is that actually Gemini website has a free version as well. But of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, you need to understand that whenever you work with models that are for free, then you are working in a deep learning model. That pretty much means that your information will be kept and they can actually use your information to whatever purpose they like, because that's how the model is learning. So that changes whenever you go into Gemini for Google Workspace version and you start paying for a license on that one, because then your information will not be shared, and then all the security we just discussed will be applied. And even to keep it in a safer way, once you have the other version of Gemini, actually you can limit for the rest of users that will not have an add-on assigned. You can limit them not to be able to access Gemini for free inside the company. So that tells you for sure that only people that has an add-on assigned will be able to use it in the company. And if I don't have an add-on on my user, then I cannot even go into the free version of Gemini, just to keep it in the safe zone pretty much. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's actually what we're learning today. So let's stop presenting this one. Let me just move to the examples that we will be working with today. Let me share my screen with you. So we will start with the help me write portion within uh, Gmail, for example. So as you can see, I'm just composing a new email from scratch. I don't have any information here with me, and this is the place where you start taking advantage of Gemini, because at the bottom of the screen, as you can see, I have the Help Me Write button available there. Why? Because I already have an add-on assigned to my user. So that means that all I have to do is log in, and then automatically it will display on my screen that I now have access to Gemini for Google Workspace, and this is the portion for Gmail specifically. So here we come to what we call prompting. So prompting is actually typing the right instruction. It's important we understand that the prompt must not be a question. In this case, it must be a command. So it should be a specific instruction. And there are important things that you are not supposed to skip whenever you're prompting with artificial intelligence. So it's always important that you mention who you are. I mean, not your name and your preferences, but just to let them know I'm talking as the CEO of the company, or I'm talking as the human resources manager, or I'm talking as a trainer, and I would like to convey this message to my audience. So you have to say like what type of language they need to use based on who you are. So it's important you always say as what is supposed to act, in this case Gemini, whenever they start fulfilling your request. So that is something very important as part of the prompt. Then it's also important that you provide context. So you need to say like, okay, so this is because I will be just having a new training session next week, and I'm sending an invitation so they can join, or I'm just I don't know, notifying the whole company as a CEO that we just hired a new CTO and he's coming to the company and he has this expertise and he will be helping us with this. So you need to provide us as much context as possible, so they can help you writing something in the proper way. Then you also have to say who the audience is. So in this case, if this is a message I'll be conveying to someone else, I have to say, okay, this is going to people with no expertise on technology whatsoever. So try to use simple language so it's easier for them to understand. Even though we're talking about the new CTO, since not the whole company is tech, then it's important we just convey the message in simple words. So you have to say the audience is the whole company, but not all of them have technology expertise. So it's important you keep that in mind. You also need to say if you have a specific way of conveying the message. So, for example, I don't know, maybe the message is supposed to be very happy because we're just very happy that we were able to hire this new CTO in the company. So use an enthusiast tone, or whatever tone you consider necessary. That's important you include it there as well. And also, if you need something specifically as part of the instructions, for example, if you say, I want to bulletize my message, so use bullets a lot, or just summarize the message as much as possible, or just try to elaborate a little bit more. So whatever it's important for you, or please make sure you include a table, or make sure you, whatever you consider important, it's always necessary for you to say that as part of the prompting. So remember, you need to say who you are, who's your audience, what you want to say, the context, as more context as possible. And then you need to be very specific if there's any specific tone or something you would like to use in your message. That's very important for you to use it as well. So let's go with an example here. Let me just the example for Gmail in this case, it's actually related to what I was just telling you. So let's just pretend that we have a new CTO coming our way, for example. So let's say I want to let the whole company know that we just hired a new CTO, and that we want everyone to know that there's a new CTO with this experience, and he will be, I don't know, adding this to the company, or just helping us with this specific procedure, or whatever that might be. Then you can just say that specifically. So let me just go ahead and check here with a few examples we have. Okay. So for example, I can just type in my message here, and I can say something like send an email to all members of the organization to officially announce the recent acquisition of Novotech Limited. Use an enthusiastic tone. So as you can see, pretty much what I'm saying is that the message should go to all the organization. This is to officially announce the recent acquisition of another company. I'm just giving the name of the company because again, I'm inside uh, Gemini for Google Workspace, which means I do have the capability on giving names, giving confidential information, because I know I'm just playing safe by having my Gemini for Google Workspace license. So I'm just providing all the information. Probably I could add something else like act as the CEO and send an email. So again, we're saying who we are, who's the audience, in this case, the whole company, the message that we would like to provide. So the acquisition of the new company, I'm saying the name of the new company. I can add more context if I prefer. So I can say what will be the specialty on this company or the reason why we decided to acquire the company. Many different things that I can add to this prompt. But the way it is right now, it has a little bit of everything, including the type of tone that I would like to use, for example. So I can just click on create. And as you can see, basically it will give me the whole message here. So it says, dear team, and then just giving me the whole information about what's going on. It understands that it's supposed to act as the CEO. So it's actually putting the signature on the message as the CEO of the company, providing all details on information we said. But this is not the end. Actually, as you can see at the bottom, we have the two different options. We can even recreate the message if we didn't like the option they gave us, or we can just refine the message a little bit more. So we can say to formalize the tone, or to elaborate a little bit more, or just to shorten the message, for example. So those are the type of options you can choose. And then all you have to do once you're okay with the message is just say insert, and then it will become text that you can still customize and modify. So for example, if I don't want to say anything here about my name because I already have a signature at the bottom of my email, then I can just remove this portion here. I can type the recipients. If that's like a whole group, then I can send it to the whole group to include the whole company. And as you can see, the subject is already there. Congratulations on the acquisition of Novotech Limited. So that information is already here. And then once I'm okay with it, all I have to do is add the recipients, click on send, and I'm done with my message. Or you can also use the same option here. You can use it just to reply to an existing email as well. So for example, if I have I don't know, maybe something like this email, for example. So my boss sent me information about a new security product, and he's giving me a little bit of description of the product there. But maybe I want to say something else, and I want to get more information. So I can go into reply, help me write, and I can say, ask more details about the launching date for the product and what information should I provide to my clients. So I can just give like a very simple prompt in this case because it's just a reply. And as you can see, it will actually use the previous message as context, and it will just write down the email to reply. So again, dear Carol Munoz, thank you for reaching out and introducing me. And it's just specifically asking for more information. It's just following my request on the prompt specifically. And then it's just best regards, Mario Gomez. So it's ready. I can just insert this message. And as you can see, it will be very easy for me to reply to an existing email as well. So those are the capabilities that you have available now as part of Gmail when it comes to writing down an email from scratch or just replying to an existing conversation. You can use even the previous email as context. So it's easier because instead of going all the way through the information you are asking or providing, you don't need to create a whole prompt, because then you can just use the previous email as context and say whatever you need to know or whatever you need to say, and then it will understand that using that previous email as context, then it will just generate the message that you want to convey. So this is very helpful. This is really interesting, and it will be saving you a lot of time, especially because sometimes we don't even know how to write an email. I don't know, for example, you're asking for a raise to your boss, something that you don't really know how to message. So you can just say a prompt with very specific information, and then the email will be just created by Gemini, and then you can just send it to whatever recipient that goes. Let's move to Google Docs specifically. Again, here in Google Docs, we also have the option to help me write. You can ask for job description. This is something that happened on real life to me, actually. Sometimes they ask me for your job description and include all the details and tell me specifically this. Well, I'm not into human resources, so that's not my jam. So I do know what I do on a daily basis, but whenever you ask me to put it in a document as my job description, then it's kind of hard because I don't really know how to put it in a format that should go to human resources. So I can just say what I do, and I need to say to Gemini that I need help by creating a job description, and then that's exactly what they'll do. But the example I have for today for you, it's a little bit different. The idea is that Gemini understands that there are other tools within Docs that can be also used. So it's not just plain text. It's not just creating a letter or a job description or a product description or whatever that you can actually create here. But instead, Gemini understands that they can also take advantage of other functionality within Docs. So let's say, even though this is not Gmail, I can still ask, for example, to write an email to notify the entire organization about the recent hiring of the new CTO, right? Use an emotional tone, I can say on this one. So as you can see, even though this is not Gmail, I can still use my Docs to just create a new email. And this is portion of what I was telling you. When I say create, I want you to notice that in this case, Gemini will understand that they can take advantage of other functionalities within Docs. So it's actually not giving me just plain text, but it's also giving me other options such as Smart Canvas, which is another important tool within Docs that can help you create email drafts, can help you use variables, for example, can help you understand use tags for people as well. So as you can see, they actually use everything inside the answer they gave me. And again, I still have the option to change the tone, to summarize, to bulletize, to elaborate, to shorten, or even to retry. So let's say I'm okay with the answer they gave me at the beginning. So I can say just insert. And I want you to notice that this is an email draft, which means I can replace person here, and instead use the @ symbol to say, okay, this email should go to Natalie. I will copy on this email my boss Karel, for example, and then I can send a blind copy to Ismail, for example. I mean, it's not really required for you to use all different fields, but just to give you an example that you can do. So I'm using Smart Canvas just to tag them with a contact card, so you understand that the email should go to them. I can use the subject here, so I can say welcome, for example. And then, as you can see, it's telling me that the organization name is actually a label. And this is just a variable, which means I can go here and start using my variables. And actually, I can replace that. So I can say, when it comes to new CTO's name, I can just create a list and change that on every single email that I send. Or when it comes to the number, I can just create a list of numbers here as well. Or if it's the organization name, I can also create a list. So even if this is an email, probably that I'm sending for marketing purposes, and I'll be sending this to different people, I can use the same template to send different emails to different people, because I can just create a list of variables on the right side of the screen, and I can just replace those on every email that I'm sending. And once I'm ready, let's say my email is ready to be sent, let's say I just created the list of variables here, I can just click on the M icon here you see on top of the screen, and it will connect me to my Gmail account. I don't have to do anything extra, and whatever was on that template in my document will now become an email. So it's ready for me to send, because as you can see, it already included Natalie. It's sending a copy to Karel, and it's sending also a blind copy to Ismael as I requested. My email is already here, and I can just click on send. And this is very easy, very, very simple to do. That's the idea. Remember what I was telling you at the beginning, that Google Workspace will help you saving a lot of time. So again, even though we were working with an example on docs, it's important we understand that Gemini will actually take advantage of any other additional functionality might be available, such as the email draft option for Smart Canvas and the tags with variables that we just saw. And we can also use a smart contact card, so I can say who the email is being sent to, and it will be applied. And I can save this document, and I can continue using the document as a template every time I want to say something else. So a few questions they have been sharing with us here says, in a bilingual organization, say French, English, how do the interactions of different users with Gemini work? Is an English speaking user capable of prompting Gemini in English to write an email in French, or that sort of task? The answer is yes. Actually, it has the capabilities on different languages. When it comes to the tools that are embedded in docs, in sheets, and slides, which is what I've been describing so far. Right now, it's available in English only within the apps per se. Of course, part of the roadmap they gave us for 2024 is that it's coming very soon in different languages: Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, different languages that can be used now. Not yet available, but if you go to the website version, that's available in different languages. And this week, something that I want to share with you as well, that this week happened, they just released a new functionality within the different tools here as well. So once you start working with this new release that they did this week, it's available in different languages as well, which is the side panel, as we call it. So as you can see, we now have this side panel on every single tool, and it's telling me if I want to do something here. They give me suggestions. I can also prompt if I prefer, but then this side panel is now available in other languages. It can help you translate. It can help you with other things as well. Karel.
Yes, let's go to the web browser app so they can take a look at that, because
Okay.
we have a few minutes left.
Okay. No worries. So going to the web version, I'll just keep the other questions you sent, and I'll answer those at the end. So don't worry, I'll
Yes.
still answer your questions. But this one is just the web version, which is also included as part of Google for, Gemini for Google Workspace. And I want you to notice how it's identifying me here. So it's telling me that I am part of the Isers Capital Inc. And it's also telling me here at the bottom that all my information is protected and will not be used to train the model. And it's also giving me a protection shield here as a small icon. I don't know if you can actually see it, but this is just as a reminder that I'm playing safe here, because I have a Gemini for Google Workspace license available that I'm using. And that's all I need to make sure that none of the information will be shared. Remember all the security we discussed earlier. So what can we do here? We can do many different things. You can prompt, you can ask, you can have a conversation, you can ask for specific information. You can ask to create content, different things that we can perform. So let's say, for example, I don't know, maybe this one, for example. So what if I want to, maybe I'm preparing myself because I'm just visiting a new client. And maybe I want to say, okay, prepare a bank for 10 essential questions to strengthen a close relationship with a potential client in the first sales meeting about a new product. So I'm just visiting this client for the very first time, and I want them to help me creating 10 questions that I'm supposed to ask to my client, just to strengthen my relationship and make sure that we start with the right foot, as we say. So let's say I'll just submit this prompt. I want you to pay attention that I didn't give specific instructions as to what type of product or what type of client I'm visiting, but still, it was able to give me information here. So it's giving me opening questions to build rapport, personal connection, current situation, goal and aspirations. It's also giving me other type of questions related to product focus questions. So uncovering needs, decision-making questions, next steps, key tips. It's giving me all the different information that will be helpful for me. But then I can just keep on going with the conversation. So if I say like, do more friendly questions. So I don't have to repeat myself. It understands that I'm talking still about the previous request that I did, and it will understand. And it says here, giving me an answer just to reconfirm that it understood my request. So it says, absolutely, here's a friendly version of the questions, and just giving me the same questions, but in a more friendly way. So as you can see, you can continue with the conversation. You can just continue asking something else. If you forgot something here, maybe I can say, okay, so my product is cloud-based security product that will be released and launched next week, because I forgot to describe that at the beginning, and it will understand that I'm still asking for the same bank of questions, but I'm just giving additional information. So you can continue going with the conversation. And that's why at some point, this is just like more conversational, more interacting, like if you're interacting with another person. And that's very important for you to keep in mind whenever you're building prompts. It's important you keep in mind that you need to describe your prompt as if you were talking to another person, not as a robot, not as a machine. It's just like if you're having a friendly conversation with one of your coworkers, that's exactly what you need to do with your prompt. And here, for example, if I like the answer they gave me and I'm okay with it, I can just use the share and export, and I can say, okay, so export these two docs, for example. And it tells me here on the bottom left corner of the screen that has been exported to docs. And I can just grab the document here, and the questions are already now available here as well. Or you can export it to a table inside Google Sheets. So it really depends. Or if I ask, even if I say, share these with me as a table, for example. So it will create a table because that's the request I created. So it's giving me the same questions, but in the format of a table. As you can see, it's building the table for me. And again, because I asked that to become a table, then it's also giving me the button at the end. If I would like to export these two sheets, I can say that. And again, once it's ready, it will let me know here at the bottom left corner. And again, I'll have my sheet created with a table of the information I requested. Other important things you can do, because the website version is more friendly and you can do many different things. So as you can see, there's an icon that will allow you to upload an image. So let's say, let me share an image with you here. So let's say I do have an image here that has been saved in my computer for quite a while, and I don't even have an idea on what that image is. So this is the image that I actually have saved in my computer. It has been there for quite a while, and I don't even know what this image is. I'm not even an expert. I don't understand blueprints. I don't know what's going on with this one. So I choose to close my image. I choose to go into Gemini, and I can say, okay, so let me upload this image here, because I don't even know what that image was. I saw the image and I couldn't understand, and I'm just going to ask, what is this? And just include the image that I share with you. And then in just a matter of seconds, actually Gemini will have the capability to let me know what the image is and give me a deeper description. So it tells me this is a US patent for a computer mouse filed on August 4, 1998. It details design, functionality of the mouse. So I can say, okay, please elaborate. And it will give me more details on the same information here, as you can see. So it's a conversational way. I can just change subject randomly, and it will understand that I'm just talking about something different, because earlier we were talking about the table with the questions and everything. Then I just decided to include a new image and ask what the image was. They gave me a summarized description of it. Then I asked to elaborate, and now it's giving me more information, giving me more details about the housing, the button, the scroll wheel, the tracking mechanism, everything that's within this patent. It's talking me about the importance of patents as well. So a lot of different information that could happen just with a single image. And the same thing can happen if I share charts, if I share websites, and I say, okay, summarize the information on this website for me. Instead of reading a website with, I don't know, 50, 60 pages, then I can just say summarize in one page, or create a one pager on this product description, and it will do exactly what I'm asking. So as you can see, different things that you can do. Or related to the question you were asking me earlier, I can say, give me the answer in French, related to the question someone asked me earlier. And as simple as that, I have the same information here in French. So we have different things that we can perform, different type of requests we can do. The website version of Gemini is more flexible, has more capabilities. The other is very precise because it's already embedded within the tool, so it can help you write, can help you organize, can help you create, can help you connect. But at the end, all of them are part of Gemini for Google Workspace. And the most important thing is that you can be 100% safe by just playing in the safe zone, having a license available for Gemini, and taking care of your security, which is really, really important to keep in mind. And as I said, if you ask me for suggestions, I'll just say, as a best practice, make sure that whatever tools you're using currently, don't use them in a free version, because those do not offer you any protection. If you have a smart assistant for your meetings, if you have a smart assistant for your calendar, if you have whatever you have, as long as it is free, it's the same as not protected, and you need to keep that in mind all the time. Very important. Carol, you wanted to add something?
Mario. Yes, Samantha asked us, is once an organization purchases Gemini, is it available for every employee?
Okay, the answer is no. The answer is that you have to purchase the number of add-ons that you want available. So let's say if I have 100 employees and I just want to apply Gemini for 10 employees, then I'll say just purchase 10 licenses for Gemini. And then only those 10 people will have access to Gemini. And as I said earlier as well, part of the security settings that we offer is that you can block Gemini for the rest of the organization, just to keep it in the safe zone, just to make sure that people without a paid license cannot use Gemini, because by mistake, they may end up releasing sensitive information with a deep learning model, which is not what we really want. So you can keep it safe. You can say, okay, so I just purchased 10 licenses, then I'll just give access to Gemini only to those 10 users. The rest of the organization, even if they try to go to gemini.google.com, they will not be able to launch the website because it will be blocked for them.
Great. Shaquille is asking us if he can generate pictures in the email, or is it just reserved for Google Slides?
A couple of things here. The images that you create through slides, you can actually copy those images and use it in any other tool. That could be one option. And the other option is that you can also start generating images on the website version, which is the one we just showed you on the last example we played. So probably you cannot create the image inside Google Docs straight, because the only option that's embedded that for now is to help you write. However, as I was also telling you, this week, just a couple of days ago, Google launched the side panel on all different tools within Google Workspace as part of the new enhancement they created for Gemini inside Google Workspace. And that one has the promise that will help us create images in docs, in sheets, in whatever we might be. It's still in the beta phase, I will say, because this was just released this week, like 2 days ago. But eventually that will be available as well, just to let you know. And there's a whole roadmap of different functionalities and things. More than what we just discussed today, there's a lot of things coming our way. So it's important you keep that in mind as well.
Very good, Mario. We don't have any more questions. So if you have anything else, you can ask us right now, or we can thank you all for being here today, and keep posted, because we will be doing this frequently, because this subject changes every day. So thank you very much, Mario, and all the team that is join us. And all of you, thank you very much for your time. We will be sending you this recording, so you will be able to look at it and share with your people inside your organizations.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Mario.
Just before we say goodbye, I just wanted to add, if you're interested in knowing more about Gemini for Google Workspace, or even other type of Gemini, my suggestion is to get in touch with your point of contact with Resource Capital, so we can set a meeting. And of course, we will be more than glad to help you through the process and giving you more details, pricing, and whatever else you need to know. So you can set a meeting whenever necessary. If you need to set a meeting with other team members in your company, we will be more than glad to go into that meeting as well and help you out. And what else? Well, I guess that was it. Just keep in mind that you can schedule meetings with us if you need more information, if you want to know more, if you want to know about the different type of licenses available, the different pricing, the different releases, the different, I don't know, whatever you need to know about Gemini, just get in touch with us, and we will be more than glad to set meetings with you and help you through the process on this one.
Great. Thank you very much, Mario. Let's
Okay.
see another question. Very nice stuff. Thank you very much, Nathaniel.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and probably see you soon talking about Gemini on something else.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.